Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me. So in this video, the live stream, we're actually going to talk about how to be a better player. But I'd like to ask your opinion on that first. If you have any questions about how to become a better player in general, whether this could be your diet, this could be anything to do with the particular skills, so you can ask me about all that and I will do my best to answer you. I've tried very hard to switch it to my other camera, but unfortunately we'll have to do it on my computer because I can't figure out how to switch it. But if you have any questions, just keep them coming. And like I did yesterday, I answered about 25 questions, which was very good. How can you be a better dribbler? To be a better dribbler, you have to learn to be calm. And if you're a calm player, you're gonna have the confidence, and the opposition actually will fear from you because you can calm things down, and they know that you're more aware of what you can do with your feet. And this is about, if you're a very fast player, you need to learn to calm it down even more, because you need to be able to keep the ball close to your body. When you're dribbling, that's probably one of the most important things. So you need to learn how can you be confident, calm, as well as keep the ball close to your body when you're dribbling. How to build football instinct. Well, the instinct actually a vision and awareness. So you need to see as much when you're on the pitch. So to be able to do this, you need to scan. And if you see more, you're going to have better instincts, because you know where the opposition is going to be, where your teammates are going to be. So you're going to be playing with a better instinct in general. So you need to see as much as possible on the pitch. And how do you do this? By scanning. Thank you. Thank you, Vishwa. I play basic football and I'm 23. Can I become best football player in my city? That's my aim. Can I make it in 6 months of daily training? I don't think it's a good idea to limit yourself in a 6 months, because the more pressure you put on yourself, the harder it's gonna be. So you need to actually do this as long as you can and work really hard at it at all times. Don't try to put yourself that 6 months a limit, but try to go out on the pitch and train by yourself with your team all the time. Was that good enough? So yes, being a good player in general is about how you can build confidence as quick as possible. And the more you play, the more you practice, the more you are able to scan on the pitch, the more confident you're going to be, which means the better player you're going to be. But while you're doing this, you also need to understand you need to be playing 90 minutes, 11v11 games. And this means that you actually need to go to a team that doesn't have to be very good. So all you need to do is play wherever it is. It could be a bad team, which could give you bad habits. That's correct. But you need to have the mental state of being in a bad team, but you are doing the right things for yourself. Thanks, Yanis. I miss you, buddy. Is football more about mental than physical? I think it's both. or and I can also add a skill as well. So you need to have the proper skills, the tactical knowledge, physical abilities, and mental state. But if you want to bring it to a certain level, you have to have all of these. If you want to be a pro, you need to have the mental state, the physical abilities, the tactical awareness, as well as your skills. How to be calm. How to be calm and give best in important matches with full confidence. So when it comes to playing important games, your confidence will vary. Your skill level, you have the skill, but you're not going to be as calm because it's a very important game. So, but that's why I always tell everybody, no matter what level of team you're playing against, whether it's a great team or whether it's a bad team, you always have to have the same mental state. So you have to prepare yourself when you're playing against a bad team, which could be even more challenging to play against better teams, because when you're playing against better teams, you're mentally preparing yourself all the time, like at the highest level. But when you're playing against worse teams, you're kind of not giving as much effort to it, or you're not preparing yourself as good because you're thinking, oh, okay, we are playing against a weak team, right? So that's why you need to be in the same mental state as when you're playing a bad game, as when you're playing against a bad team and against a good team. Thank you, Yanis. Are you coming over anytime soon? When should you be doing runs as a winger? What kind of runs? Because I was talking about this yesterday quite a lot, actually. If you're a right winger and you're right footed, you are gonna be staying wide because your goal is to actually to stay wide and have the crossing opportunities to your teammates. If you are a right winger, left footed, you're gonna be cutting inside and opening a space for your fullback to overlap. So it all depends what kind of a winger are you. No, Messi the magician. The scanning is not as easy. It looks. I 100% agree, which is, in my opinion, one of the hardest thing to do. And to be able to scan, you need to be confident. But to be able to be confident, you also need to scan. So that's why when you are at the practices doing your individual trainings, make sure you always scan. It doesn't matter you have the ball or not. It's like you need to make it a habit, like when you're driving a car, let's say, you always have to check your rear mirror, right? You have to check if there's a car on the left side, you have to check if there's a car on the right side. That's why it's very important to get the habit of the same thing. When you're driving, you have to be constantly looking, and it's the same way when you're on the pitch, you also have to be constantly looking. So this is from Demi Play. So I play well when I'm playing weekend games, but during tournaments, and I know my teammates are counting on me, I don't play so well. Um, so I'm assuming the tournaments are more important than the weekend games, right? Also, make sure to drop a like, everyone. I really appreciate your questions and everything, but make sure you drop a like so I can reach to more people. Thank you. Okay, I'll come back to you, Demi Play. If you could clear that with me, that your tournaments are more important than your weekend games. Thank you. I appreciate it, Vishwa. I appreciate all the support. Recommend me. Can you recommend me some training, as I'm a attacking midfielder player, and best warm up? I self train myself from your videos. No problem at all. I really, really appreciate you joining and asking questions. That's how you learn. You ask questions and you learn. I'm fast, not a good dribbler, and I'm good defender in general. I don't like being a fullback, but I just can't win 1v1s. Not necessarily. You can really, this is for Shadow 101. You can really improve your defending techniques, defending skills. It's not as hard. And all you have to do when you're defending, don't get me wrong, my defending is not very good either. But you have to be calm. And if you watch players like Virgil van Dijk or some of the top level center backs or fullbacks, your eye contact is really important. You cannot focus on the ball when you're defending. You need to read the opposition. You need to look at them in the eye, not always look at the ball. Look at them in the eye and then see what they're gonna, because their eye is gonna show you what they're gonna do, whether if they're gonna cut inside or whether if they're gonna go wide. If they want to go wide, let them go wide, because they're the less threatening out there. So you make sure you don't allow them to cut inside. Can you do a video where you talk about how to stay calm under pressure? Um, yes, I actually have multiple videos on how to play under pressure. This is for Genius Maker. And so I have many videos on how to stay calm under pressure, how to play under pressure. But uh, and then I also have a video about how to be confident. So I would suggest that whatever position you're playing, you need to know where are the spaces on the pitch. So when you are receiving the ball, you find those spaces, you move towards those spaces, and that's when you receive the ball, and you'll be under less pressure. To increase confidence as a striker. So if you are a striker, are you a big striker or a small striker? That's an important question because that really changes everything. Usually, this is for Abud. You're an inverted winger, and when exactly should you make runs in a game? So if you are an inverted winger, your main goal is to make your runs central, and you're opening that space for your overlapping fullback. So when your fullback is overlapping, that means you created the space. So your main goal is to have your fullback to receive the ball out wide. When that happens, your fullback is gone. You can kind of shift back slightly, drop, not in the 18. Depends on the situation, but mostly you drop deep and then you'd receive the ball right outside the 18 if you can. But to make the proper run, most of the time you're going to be making your runs when the ball is on the other side or when the defensive midfielder has the ball, not when your team has the ball. Because if your fullback has the ball and when your team is approaching to an attack, that means you're going to be staying wide because your fullback will not be coming up to support because he has the ball and he's going to be seeing you, right? So that's why your runs most likely will be happening when the ball is on the other side of the pitch. What else we got here? How many hours should I train in a single day? I would say hour and a half to 2 hours max, because you don't want to overdo it. How can I be a better center midfielder? First of all, to become a better central midfielder, you need to have the best scanning abilities. You have to be constantly scanning and you have to know the position incredibly well. Not just your position, every other position on the pitch. Whether this is a center mid position, opposition center mid position, defensive mid, even center backs. You need to know everything because you are the maestro there. You have to be dictating the game, dictating your team as well as dictating the other team. So you need to be incredibly well knowing every position on the pitch. Nowadays, while playing, I tend to make my game more complicated instead of where I can give a simple. I try to play extraordinarily and lose the ball. My confidence has lost. How to overcome it? Um, Playing simple. You need to learn to play simple. If you want to make it to a higher level, you need to be as simple as possible. And you need to get used to this when you're practicing. You need to get used to this when you're playing with your friends. Two touches maximum. That's it. I can dribble, but I don't. I love to play simple. And once you learn how to properly play simple, you're gonna love it even more than when you can dribble around players. What did I mean by when the ball is on the other side? Yes, center back. The center, if your team has the ball centrally, or on the other side. So if you're a right winger, but if your left fullback has the ball, that's when you're gonna be making your runs most likely, because the switches are very important. Your team needs to switch from one end to other, and you have a space on the right side to receive the ball from the left side, or when your center back has the ball. But preferably, there is a reason there are center mids. I would rather my center mid or defensive mid to create the game rather than my center back. Because if you go out wide when your center back has the ball, you're forcing your center backs to create the game. But that's why there is center mids and attacking mids or defensive mids are there to create the game, not your center backs. I'm a center mid. My scanning, passing, dribbling is good, but I want to improve my slide tackles and finishing. What are the best drills? Um, well, anything that you can play with one on one with your friends when you're individually training on the pitch or at the practices, that's where you're going to be improving. There is not um, a specific drill to improve slide tackle, but just have your friend out on the pitch with you, train with your friend, and try to defend your friend. And make sure don't hurt your friend when you're slide tackling. But I would rather my players, when they're defending, stay up on their feet, because when you slide tackle, when you get used to slide tackling too much, you get up much slower. If the opposition beats you, you're almost not going to be able to catch up to back to the opposition to catch them, because if you need to be staying up on your feet, and you shouldn't get used to slide tackling a lot. I'm a center mid. My scanning, oh, I already did read that one. How should I be training every day to improve as a midfielder? Also, what do I need to be top midfielder? Um, Depends, but your simple passing skills are the most important thing when it comes to a good midfielder, whether you're at number 8 or number 10. You need to be incredibly well at passing. You need to be incredibly well with short passing and long passing. So that's what you need to be, first of all, incredibly good at doing: short passing, long passing, and playing simple and having a great vision, which means scanning and awareness. As a central midfielder, can I struggle to get assists, control the game? Any tips? Um, First of all, learn to play simple, and then the rest will come. So if you play simple, you're gonna receive the game will be, your team's attacks will be much smoother. So that's why if you play simple, you're gonna receive the ball centrally, and you're gonna be able to create the game better because you're gonna receive the ball more often. Don't forget to drop like, guys, please. I really, really appreciate that. Tobechu Kalu. Hi, I'm a winger and I'm doing good in everything except cutting inside at a good angle to shoot. Uh, Good angle to shoot. What can I do? So that's a tough one because you're not always gonna have a moment, the proper moment to shoot when you are cutting inside as a winger. So your first goal as a winger, if you are cutting inside with the ball, can you use both of your feet? Because most of the time, the opposition knows your dominant foot, right? So they're gonna close that angle for you, so you can't shoot that. That's the opposition's main goal, to block you from using your dominant foot. So that's what you need to realize, and that's why you need to improve your weak foot. You need to improve to be confident using your weak foot, and that's the most important part. But you need to have the ability to shoot with left and right foot. I'm not good at pinging or curling passing. How to improve it? Because I can do the simple passing, but not these. Pinging. I have a video about pinging the long balls, and you can watch that. I also have a simple passing uh, basics of the tutorial as well. You can watch that one because it could be very long for me to explain that here. So to sum everything up, when my midfielders have the ball, I should be more central, so the fullback can overlap. But when the ball is on the other side, I should be making. That's correct. That's You're exactly right, Abu. My brother is trying to teach me how to play two touch in games, but I often find myself isolated with players around me. So because that happens, I overcomplicate things. See, that's what you need to do different. If you are isolated by the opposition, you need to be even more simpler. And that means if you're isolated when you're receiving the ball, you're in the wrong position. You need to be at the position where there's spaces. And that's the most important part. Just because you can receive the ball centrally, but you're isolated, doesn't mean that you should receive the ball there. You need to get out of that space, find a better and a space that's not occupied by the opposition. That's when you receive the ball, and you'll be able. And to be able to do this, you need to scan and you need to see where those gaps are, and you also need to know. Let's say you're a center midfielder. Centrally, it's going to be tough for you to receive the ball, especially if you're on the opposition's half. So you need to sometimes have to drop deep to receive the ball in your own half. Um, I can teach you how to shoot properly, but it's tough one here. I need to actually be on the pitch and showing it. So, but main thing when you're shooting, whether you're so every style is different. If you're curve shooting, that means you're gonna have to you bend your knee and properly give that angle to the ball and like kind of slip through it and to curve it to one side. But when you are power shooting, the the most important thing to realize, the power needs to come from the hip, not from your knee. So you cannot bend. So this is your leg, let's say this is your leg, and you're about to kick the ball. When the foot touches to the ball, you cannot bend your leg. That means the power is coming from the knee, not from the hip. So you have to be swinging it like a bat almost, and that's how you're gonna get a power. As a pure number eight, I watch Xavi to learn, but who should I watch in modern day of football? Please tell me De Bruyne, but he's more of a number 10. You could watch Luka Modric. He's an incredible number 8, in my opinion. And he, even though he wears 10, but I think he is more of a traditional number 8. And Tony Kroos as well, really good. And yeah, I think those two players are great players to watch. They are getting older too, but I mean, you can't go wrong with watching Luka Modric. No problem, Bello. So to sum things up, scan more, find the spaces, and play more simple so games become more easier. Exactly, you're right, OSS. I'm a power shooter. When you're power shooting, You need to swing your hip real fast and follow through the ball like an arrow with a good technique. Yes, but you have to be able to give the more ball more power, and maybe the what is that called, knuckle effect. When this is the ball, let's say, and this is your foot, the the follow through cannot be too much, because then you're not really giving transferring all that power to the ball. So when your foot connects with the ball, you need to stop it as quick as possible. That's going to generate more power towards the ball. What should you focus your individual trainings? That depends, but if you're training, let's say 3 to 5 times a week, you need to actually do everything, a little bit of everything. Maybe don't even go to a pitch on one of those days. Just watch games on the TV and understand and learn to watch the TV. Learn to watch the games when the players that plays your position don't have the ball. That's the most important thing. And then other days, do some dribbling day or passing day, as well as a fitness day and strengthening days. How can I play as tap in master in strike position? I'm not sure if I got that question. You would have to rewrite that one for me, please. Please don't forget to drop a like, everyone. I really appreciate that. How can I? Oh yeah, I read that one. When I do 1v1 attacking against my friend, I always lose. How can I win him 1v1 attacking? He's very good defender. Your distance is important. You need to learn your abilities. You need to understand your abilities. Are you a fast player? Are you a slow player? Are you one of those players? So if you're a slow player, that means when you're approaching to the opposition to dribble, that means you're going to have to slow down. And that's one of the simplest way to dribble. When you're approaching to the opposition, slow down for like 1 second, second and a half, and that's gonna stall the defender. And as soon as you make that 1 second slower move, immediately accelerate. That you're gonna catch them off guard, and that's gonna be easier way to dribble around the defender. When you're in games, what do you always try to do make games easier for you? For me, so I've played attacking midfielder most of my life. Now I'm playing more of a winger because I like to receive the ball on the wide side of the field. So for me, what makes my game easier is this me finding the spaces. The more and quicker I can find those spaces to receive the ball, my game gets easier. How can I be a flair and creative left winger? If you want to be a good and creative left winger, that depends what. So I'm a winger right now, but I'm a slow winger. So that's why it's a. It really depends what kind of a winger you are. I want to become a striker in my team. I hope you can. Um, that depends if you're a tall striker or a short striker, like Aguero versus Haaland. So that's why you need to understand if you're going to be target striker or if you're going to be a winger striker-ish player, and you need to find those players and watch those players and understand what they do, how they do. Because if you're a target striker, most often you're going to receive the ball when your back is turned to the opposition. But if you're other type of striker, you're going to be making runs behind the defenders because you can use your speed. So that's the most important part to realize first. So basically focus on the fundamentals: dribbling, passing, shooting, first touch. That's right. First touch is everything. If you want to be a good player, you have to master first touch. That's the first thing that you need to improve when it comes to playing football. you need to have the best first touch possible because you're gonna always use your first touch. Is Pedri or Thiago a good? Yes, they are definitely a good watch. But I mean, Pedri is a young player, so that means he also lacks some stuff. So you need to watch the older players, a little older than Pedri, because yes, Pedri is incredible, but I mean, you have to be watching the experienced ones, see what they do, because they will be doing better. What left backs to watch? Left back, well, he's a little bit of a wing back, but I like Alfonso Davies. I think he's one of the greatest left back, and Mendy is good. So those are my two, I would say. Maradona or Messi? I think they're both great. I didn't get to watch Maradona a lot. I just watched a lot of his highlights, but I like Messi. So how can I be the best player in my team from left? Um, if you want to be a good left winger, you need to know when to drop, when to cover for your fullbacks, when to be making the central runs, when to be making the wide runs. So it all comes to knowing your positioning properly. I just can't get a knuckleball right. I've been doing it ages ago, but rarely get shot right. Even I checked my technique; it was good through video that I record, but somehow ball doesn't knuckle. Um, what many players make a mistake with when it comes to the knuckleball is they try to overpower the shot. You don't need to be using so much power to be able to knuckle the ball. You have to actually um, know the proper technique, which means what part of the foot that needs to connect with the ball, or what part of the ball that you need to connect, or how much where the power needs to generate from. Those are the things that you need to pay attention. Don't focus on the power part of it. Marcelo is good, yes, but we can't watch Marcelo too often anymore. Can I share you my schedule here? What kind of a schedule? What football club do you support? Fenerbahçe, which are playing in about half an hour here. Aleyküm selam, Emir. Please don't forget to drop a like. That really helps my channel out. And I really, really appreciate all your support and your involvement here. Thank you. How? Yeah, you can write it down and I can quickly take a look. Aztec, how do you become a faster and have more stamina? Um, Working hard is one of the things to become faster for sure. You need to, but I think when it comes to playing football, it's more important. It's more important that you actually learn to improve your acceleration rather than to be fast. That's what you need to achieve. You need to get your acceleration. How can you accelerate quicker, basically? I'm gonna be working on that. I had some minor injuries. That's for No and Kunku. I was gonna make the train like a pro video, but I kind of had a small injury of my knee, so I wasn't able to keep training. But I'm gonna work on that once I heal properly. Fener Union'a ne diyorsun? Zor maç olacak diyorum. I want to become better at playing passes before a defense reacts. Who are the best players to learn that from? Uh, well, if you wanna improve your passing and when to pass properly, when to play simple, you have to watch Xavi and Iniesta. There is nobody better to watch than Xavi and Iniesta duo. You will know when they play nice and simple and all that stuff you can learn from those two players. But having said that, you have to also watch teams that plays simple best, but they are not very good team. So that is very important because most of, if you are watching my videos, you are not at the top Xavi and Iniesta level, obviously. So you're probably not playing at the best team. So you have to find teams that are not as good but trying to do the right thing. Those are the important things. Those are the important teams to watch if you want to improve your game. How can you play on the pitch and when the opposition is dominating you? That's the most important part to learn. How to stand out in matches, and should I always slow down a little bit? That depends on what kind of a player are you. If you're a fast player, you don't need to slow down as much if you're a fast player, but you also need to be calm because sometimes very fast players will be rushing too much to actually go and dribble against the defenders. He is doing okay right now, not too bad. It's gonna heal soon. How the greatest of all time train in their childhood? Um, childhood, I don't know, but usually when you get to 15, 16 years old, that's when you need to, because you're still growing until 16, 17, even 18 years old sometimes. So you can't overwork your body at the age because you already have those natural bone issues on your knees, on your joints, right? Because you're growing. So after 14, 15, I would say you should be putting the effort and the more um, hardcore training. So if you want to improve your stamina and be very fast, which means I told you about the improving your acceleration, is set up cones from let's say 4 cones and 5 meters in between, right? But when you are sprinting from one cone to the other, use your speed, but then as soon as you reach to the other cone, you drop your speed. You kind of jog a little bit until you reach to the other cone. As soon as you get to the other cone, make sure you speed immediately, you sprint immediately, and that's how you're going to improve your acceleration. Yes, Mitoma is great. I like Mitoma. I'm 14 right now and I'm trying to join a club, but I live in UAE, and clubs here don't have tryouts. You need to pay to join the club's academy, and if you're good, they'll promote you to the club's team. Any teams? I don't know about that. I can't tell you anything about that one. I'm not too sure how the system works. When to tackle or hold or take risks like a professional foul. If the opposition is counter-attacking, and if you're central, if you're central and they pass the center line towards your net, and make sure you're not the last man, because otherwise you're gonna get a red card. So that's when you actually make that tackle to drop the opposition down, because you basically, your goal is not to get a red card, and you need to stop the opposition attack and get a yellow card. That's your goal. Monday stretch, speed and agility. Core Tuesday technical and passing session, lower body analysis. Wednesday technical, main focus crossing upper body analysis, dribbling and analysis. Are you playing a game on the weekend before you do all those trainings? Because if you are playing a game on the weekend and you're doing this training schedule, you cannot put hard workouts on Mondays or Fridays. So try to make your hardcore workouts Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday rather than Fridays and Mondays. Any recommendations on how to improve your technical ability faster than your peers? If you started football late and you're 19, any recommendations? Technical abilities could mean a lot of things. Your passing, your first touch, your long passing, your dribbling. So you just need to work really hard to improve all these attributes. Hello, respected coach. How to be quick, fast, and skillful. Make a video on weekly training on dieting to go pro after 20-year-old. Yes, I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna make more training videos and how to go pro and dieting as well, because dieting is the most important thing when it comes to preparing yourself for the practices and the games. You need to eat the right things at the right time, but I'll talk about that more on one of my videos. I'll be preparing a video. Thank you, Bello. I appreciate the support. What was your last question, Abud? Oh, yeah, I don't know much about how the system works in your country, so I can't really tell you anything specific. But I mean, you just gotta, I guess, pay, because if they're asking you for money, I can't recommend anything else. If you don't have a natural talent, oh, here, I have another question before that. How to develop low center of gravity? Okay, so that's a good question, Emir. I would recommend, when you're going shoulder to shoulder with the opposition, to lowering yourself will lower the center of gravity, which means that you're going to be more stable when you're going shoulder to shoulder with the opposition. So you need to, and that's the important part about keeping your body strong and keeping your hips strong, because then you can tackle the opposition better. And the lower you go, the better balance you have. So you can do this when you're practicing, and you can do this playing with your friends. And I try to always go as low as possible so the opposition can't push me away from the way. We don't have much likes here, guys. Please drop a like. I'd appreciate that. Can you still go pro if you don't have a natural talent? I don't think so. You have to be, you can almost barely go pro when you have talent. And I don't think you can go pro when you don't have natural talent, unless you are lucky and you have an incredibly hardworking attitude. I can't give you example on ankle rehab because I'm not a physiotherapist and I don't exactly know what's wrong with your ankle, and I'm not too sure that could be wrong if I give you tips on that. How to be a better winger and how to get better dribbling. I answered those questions earlier. How to be a better winger. I actually talked a lot about winger positioning, but just be at the right place at the right time and make your run at the right moment. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, if you are if the ball is if the game is progressing from the left fullback side or central side, and you're a right winger, that's when you make your runs, whether it's a wide run or whether if you're making an inverted run to allow your fullback to go up. And that's the important part about being a good winger. Congrats, Aztec. Talent can be developed to a certain point, but I think you do need to have a natural talent to actually take your game to a certain level. Yes, I I agree. Talent can be developed for sure, but I mean, to be able to be pro if you don't have a natural talent is tough. Number one skill to master in football: first touch. How to be better fullback? Um, I think the best way to improve your fullback ability is to have the positional knowledge, not just you, but your right wing, well, your winger and yourself, and have incredible communication because you're in sync. That's the most important thing. And yeah, if you would like to improve your, especially inverted winger run abilities, make sure you watch Mitoma from Brighton. He's an incredible player to actually make those central runs. Okay, I'm gonna have to stop the live chat here. I'm gonna take one last question, and if you would like that answered, I'm gonna pick the best question, and then I'm gonna have to leave because my favorite team's game about to start. No problem, Aztec. But yes, I'm just gonna be answering the last question. So if you have any one last question that you'd like me to answer. Arttıracağım Emir. No more question? How? Okay, I'm gonna pick one of these questions and that's gonna be my last question. Thanks, Monish. Okay, I am picking the last question here. Do you think you can improve your dribbling with cons, or how do you improve dribbling? Yes, you can improve your dribbling with cons, and you improve your dribbling when you're practicing one-on-one with your friends. So pick a friend with you, go out on the pitch, and train 1v1s. Okay, I'll answer your question too, Abdullah. How to become a strong footballer? Um, you need to know your body properly. You don't need to be incredibly strong to be a strong player. Look at players like Sergio Busquets. He's not the strongest player. He doesn't not the biggest player, but you know he knows how to use his body. So that's the most important thing. Know how to use your body. Okay, I'll answer last question here. Darsh Shah. Please tell how to switch on and off the flow state. I don't know what that means, Darsh. If you could clear that for me. Okay, well, Thank you very much. And I really appreciate you guys joining and supporting my channel. So before we leave, please drop a like and make sure you leave comments for my videos. That really helps my channel to get to the better audience. But do not forget to drop a like, please. And then I'm gonna have to watch my team's game playing right now. I'm very excited about it. And thanks for joining, and I will see you next time.